would say let's kick off. I know that some people will still be joining us, but I don't want to waste any more time because we have a lot of material to go through. You are here at this masterclass because writing online can feel overwhelming. No matter if you are just starting out or you've been writing for a while, you've been publishing for a while, and you want to finally grow your audience. All of that can be intimidating and it can be challenging, especially if this is your first time actually getting into content creation. And my promise to you for today's session is that you will leave with clarity on what to do next and a proven system so that you can build your audience one step at a time. We will discuss 3 pillars, 3 secrets throughout the session. We will talk about the platform advantage that you have on Substack, about the reader first framework, and the shortcut system so that you can systematically build your audience while leveraging the opportunities that are out there for you right now. I'll just make my own image a little bit smaller so that you can see all the slides. Perfect. Now, before we dive in, we have also prepared a little gift for all of you who are live here in this session and throughout the session with us. So if you stay until the end of the session, you will receive our Substack Starter Vault via email in your inbox. In this Starter Vault, we have prepared 5 plug-and-play post ideas, the profile and publication checklist, and 3 subscriber welcome templates, just to ensure that it's going to be really easy for you to get started and to take the next steps on your publication. I really recommend that you stay until the live Q&A because this is the portion of the session where we have time to answer all your questions. So if there's anything that you are still missing, if there are any topics that we didn't touch base on, this is your opportunity to basically stay and connect with others, but also to get our answers. I will not be alone at the Q&A. And this will be a great opportunity to really make sure you are leaving with all the answers you need. Now, before we dive in, we have a few quick housekeeping rules. I really encourage you to turn off everything that is operating in the background and that could disturb your experience throughout the session. We won't tolerate any links or any form of disrespect in the chat. The chat is moderated, so please don't try to abuse it. And allow yourself to explore something new today. If you've been on Substack for a while, you might already be doing some great work, but I'm sure that there's still lots of bits and pieces from today's training that you will be able to implement to grow faster and to achieve the next stage for your publication. Now, as I said before, I am not alone here. My team is operating in the background. Philip and Yari are with you in the chat, and Yari will also be joining me for the Q&A at the end of the session. Now, I said before, let's make this really interactive. Let's make sure you're getting the most out of it. And to ensure that, I also want to know a little bit more about you. As far as I could already tell, we are quite a diverse group. So let me know in the chat real quick if this is your first time joining a training session like this with us, or if you have joined any of our live streams, masterclasses, or any other trainings before. And let's just make sure that we create a session that everyone can benefit from. I see a lot of first timers. That's amazing. Hello and welcome if this is your first time. So I see Jack, Julia, Anne, Nicholas, Stuart, Merdine, Patrick, Carla. Amazing. So this is your first time. You're probably new to Substack as a platform as well. Awesome. So there will be lots of new stuff for you to discover. And I'm glad that we are meeting here in this session today. Now let's dive right in. If you are new, if you don't know me yet, my name is Sinem. I'm your host and guide for the next 90 minutes plus, depending on how our Q&A goes. I've been writing online since 2018, and I've seen dozens of opportunities and platforms come and go. And I'm hosting this session because none of these opportunities came with the level of ownership, reader connection, and the growth opportunities that are available on Substack right now. I really like to emphasize this because platforms do change. And right now is a fantastic opportunity to just make sure that you are leveraging this opportunity for yourself before it's too late. I said before, I've been writing for a very long time on the internet. I've been reaching up to 350,000 readers per month on Medium. I've built my audience on Medium for the first couple of years. I haven't used any other platforms in the beginning, and I've had more than 80,000 followers, readers following me on the platform alone. But the truth is that I would exchange 80,000 followers for 8,000 subscribers in a heartbeat, because vanity metrics like followers won't pay your bills. And if you are here, the only thing that matters is whether you are able to reach readers who truly want to hear from you and who will see your work in their inboxes every time you publish. That's the only goal. Having 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers sounds pretty cool, but the bottom line is it's worthless if you cannot actually translate it to people loving what you do. And if monetization is a primary goal, then you being able to actually run a very profitable business that allows you to live on your own terms and work on your own terms. You want to build an audience you own because you want to have leverage. You want to make your own decisions. I joined Substack after writing on Medium, after having my newsletter for years. I joined Substack in July 2024 together with my team, with Philip and Yari. So we started at the beginning of July, started to post our first couple of notes, tested and implemented what we have actually done in our online businesses for several years at that time. And then we've been able to leverage that knowledge to become bestsellers on Substack within only 2 months. We gained more than 600 paid subscribers in our first 12 months. And I think at this time, we have actually crossed 750. And if you see these numbers, you might think, okay, this is luck. This is based on viral content. Maybe she went viral. She had a few really big posts that went viral externally, or there's been some weird growth hacks that only marketers use and that you are not able to use. But the truth is that it's none of that. It's not luck, it's not virality, it's not weird growth hacks. It's only based on strategic systems and repeatable frameworks. And a lot of them we're going to cover in the next couple of minutes. So we have already covered whether you've been to any of our trainings, but now I'd also love to hear, are you already publishing on Substack, or are you brand new to the platform? Give me a quick hint in the chat, again, just to know whether we want to cover some absolute basics in the Q&A session at the end, or if most of you have already been on the platform for a while and are already established and experienced. I see lots of people already writing, just started, some brand new. I see Carla saying, published my first post this week. That's amazing, congrats. Publishing only on LinkedIn, new to Substack. Caroline said, just started publishing a few weeks ago. Awesome. Cool. So no matter if you've been on the platform for a while and you really just want to ensure that you're on the right track, or you are just discovering whether this is a viable option for you or not, we're going to cover it all. And I want to get started so we don't lose any more time. And I want to start with secret number 1, why Substack is the smartest place to grow your audience right now. And even if you are already on the platform, these are some insights that everyone can really benefit from. Because you might be thinking that you're not sure if Substack is really worth it. You're not sure if the time spent on the platform is worth it. You might think that maybe you should focus on another platform. Maybe you should write somewhere else, publish your work somewhere else, or try different forms of content altogether. But the truth is that Substack is pretty unique because it's the only platform right now that combines 4 really powerful elements. Because on Substack, you have publishing. Your words are visible. So you're not just posting on social media where your posts might disappear in a feed within minutes or hours. Instead, your work is building a lasting library. So every time you show up and publish a post on Substack, it's not just gone and vanished, but it is actually there to be discovered by people months and even years later. Then we have email. And if you've been in the content creator space, if you've been following any pro creators, reading newsletters, you've probably heard this hundreds of times. You need an email list because the email list is the only parameter and the only tool that allows you to actually own your audience. And this is very unique to Substack because every subscriber who opts into your email list on Substack gets your content straight into their inbox. There are no algorithms deciding who sees your content and who doesn't. It's your readers deciding that they like your work so much that they actually want to receive an email whenever you publish. You have community. This is quite unique as well because most social media platforms right now and publishing platforms right now really lack that human connection element. And on Substack right now, you build real connections and you turn casual readers into engaged fans who might interact with you directly. This can happen through comments, it can happen in chat, it can happen through live sessions and so much more. And we will dive into this component in particular later on as well. And last but not least, you have a monetization factor. You can leverage paid subscriptions so your best work gets rewarded without any external tech tools, or you can monetize externally. I already saw a few messages in the chat being about whether you can monetize if you're in certain countries or how to monetize without a paywall or without low-tier subscriptions. That's all possible. And that's actually what I love about Substack as a platform. You have so many opportunities. You have so many tools and options. The tricky part is deciding which of these options you want to leverage, because I always encourage people to make sure that the way you build your audience, the way you create your content really aligns with you as a person. It aligns with your strengths, it aligns with your values, and it is actually a lot of fun to run the kind of business that you're building. You don't want to build your own thing just to realize that you've built something that you actually dislike. You are the boss when you're creating content, which means you make the rules, and ideally you make rules that allow you to perform at your best, to do your best, and to build something that you're genuinely proud of. Now, with those tools and with those options, you can create full leverage on Substack because you have your Substack publication, which can consist of email, of posts, of notes, of podcast episodes, of live streams, and even much more beyond that we haven't even touched base on, like chat features, for example, like a community chat, a locked chat, something like that. And the truth is, you don't have to quit other platforms if you're already using them. But on Substack, you can leverage almost any type of content, which makes it the perfect opportunity to build your content hub on the platform. And I'm not saying you should rely on an external platform forever, but if you are starting out and you don't have an email list, you don't have an audience, you don't have a great website, then you want to rely on a platform that is actually making sure that your audience is growing and that your work is being placed in a place that is making it discoverable and attractive. And Substack is giving you that opportunity for free right now. When I talk about being able to leverage different types of content, I wanted to show one really simple example. So if you're doing videos, for example, or even podcasts, here's what we've been doing. I relaunched my YouTube channel just recently. And instead of treating YouTube and Substack separately, what I did is turn my YouTube video into a fully flashed post. And this was the very first version. I literally announced that I'm back on YouTube. I uploaded, or I linked to the YouTube video, which is available in the post. And when you scroll down, you will see that there is actually a fully fleshed out article with the exact same content. Now with AI tools, this is very easy and time efficient. And it's basically you leveraging your knowledge, your expertise, and the work you create in multiple ways so that you're being rewarded several times for the work you do. And as you can see, this has actually performed really well on Substack with more than 2,000 likes. And it's also done really well on YouTube, which has been the perfect win-win scenario. Now, most platforms that you might have already tried or that you might be thinking about will limit and control your organic reach. Organic reach means that you are not paying to get seen by an audience. On Substack, you have ownership because you are building your email list. And if at any point you decide that you don't want to be on Substack anymore, you have still built a massive asset that you can leverage because you can take it with you anywhere you go and you can monetize it at any time. If you have always been dreaming of writing a book, for example, and you want to do this with a traditional publisher, the publisher will ask you whether you have an audience. And if a publisher asks you, follower numbers, for example, are worthless. The only thing they want to know is how many people can you directly reach if you email them. And that's your email list. And the stronger your email list, the more engaged your email list, the better. And that's what you can build on Substack. And here's another reason why this matters so much. I love to think about writing as a magnet because my writing, when I put it out there, is supposed to attract lots of different things. It's supposed to attract an audience. It's supposed to attract opportunities. It's supposed to attract anything that brings me closer to my goals or to the goal of my writing and the purpose it has. Now, the challenge with that is a magnet only works if you bring it close to something it can pull. If I write, and I write in my personal journal and I write in my personal diary, and I keep that journal in my living room and I never put it out there, I might have written a fantastic story or a fantastic newsletter, but nobody will see it. And therefore, this piece of writing doesn't have any chance to actually attract anything. It cannot attract opportunities. It cannot attract an audience. It will just sit there being basically a waste of my potential or not being able to actually do something for me. And that's how online writing works too. Your content might be brilliant, but if you don't get close to people who will actually enjoy it and find value in it, everything you write will just be words floating in the void. And this is what you really want to avoid, right? You want people to see your work. You want people to benefit from your work. And that's why, for example, a beautiful website, a beautiful personal blog with no readers is worthless. And this is a mistake I see time and time again. People want to build their own websites. They spend months and lots of money on creating a website, but then they come to realize that nobody is actually visiting that website because there is no reason to do so. And because there is no attraction, there is no magnet that is actually pulling the right people because the people are far away from that website. People who want to read online, they're reading on platforms like Substack, or they have their favorite readers they have discovered maybe months or years ago. So your job is to really make sure to place your writing in a place where it can actually attract the right people. And this is also what I call the creator hell, because most creators are stuck pumping out content for years without any connection. And if you've been in this space for a while, you might have realized that the gap between creating content and getting seen is now bigger than ever. 10 years ago, we didn't have so much content out there, right? So if you started to create content, whether it was on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, it was easy to gain traction because there was not much going on. So if you started to publish, you've been one of the few people who were actually showing up, no matter what your topic was. But now that we have so much content and so much overflow, and we have AI tools that basically make it possible to create content within seconds, the gap between showing up and posting and actually getting visibility is incredibly big. But the right platform and the right strategy on top of that can help you close that gap. And that's why you're here, right? On Substack, Readers are actively looking for new ideas and voices to discover. Whenever you have a platform where people are actually scrolling through a feed and they're looking for new inspiration, for new ideas, new voices, that's your opportunity, because that's your opportunity to bring your magnet, your writing, your ideas, your knowledge, your expertise closer to metal. Your metal are the right people. It's the people who want to see your writing. When we talk about an audience, a lot of people miss out on the fact that an audience consists of individual humans. You cannot just look at numbers and see your numbers rise. If you think of building an audience, you have to think of it in terms of building tiny relationships with lots and lots of people. I see lots of names here in the chat today, right? I'm not able to talk to everyone here directly, but I see you as a person in this room with goals, with hopes, with struggles, with questions, and with an expectation of what you want to leave with today. And that's really important, because otherwise I could be talking to myself. I could be recording a perfect webinar and upload it to YouTube or any platform. I wouldn't have to have that interaction. But there's a complete shift, and there's a really significant difference in how you show up when you treat your audience members as human beings and as readers who are actively choosing to pay attention and to listen to you. Now, I talked about this before. I love the idea of using Substack as your content hub and as your home on the internet while you build an audience and start monetizing your work. Again, I don't say this should be your go-to hub forever, but it's a fantastic starting point. And if you then want to expand, you have the perfect leverage to do so. You have the perfect opportunity and foundation. At Write, Build, Scale, our Substack publication is not our entire business. It's one aspect of it, but it's a fantastic growth layer that allows us to reach new people, reach people that we wouldn't be able to reach anywhere, to build relationships, build partnerships, and make sure that our work is seen by the right audience. Now let's talk about numbers real quick. I'm not really a numbers person because I'm a writer, but my team is forcing me to also focus on the numbers, because we know this is important for some of you who might be thinking about whether this is actually a valid opportunity for you right now. What we find really exciting is that Substack's monthly visits have been growing steadily over the last couple of years, and it's actually exploded recently, in particular these last 2 years. So you can see there are over 125 million monthly visits in July 2025, and accompanying this number, what's also really fascinating is that paid subscriptions have been going up as well. This is really fascinating to me personally, because it means that people are actually sick and tired of looking for good content, and they are willing to pay for it just to know that they're going to get amazing things to read in their inbox. A lot of people make this mistake of thinking of a paid Substack as just a paid newsletter. But let's be honest, nobody really wants to pay for a newsletter per se. If people are paying for your Substack, they're actually seeing tremendous value in it, because there is a lot of value in free content on the internet, right? You could access millions and millions of brand new blog posts and articles every single day. But people are actively choosing to actually pay a subscription fee to get access to their favorite readers, to content that has convinced them that it's worth paying for. And last but not least, what we also find really fascinating as business owners is the audience on Substack in particular. Right now, we have a very strong US focus in the Substack. So if you already have an offline business or even a digital business, and you're looking to particularly expand your audience in the English-speaking area, US readers, UK readers, and then Canada, Australia following. So we have a really strong English-speaking reader base and audience base on the platform right now, which is making it particularly attractive for anyone who wants to build an international business and an English-speaking online business. Now, I have done a lot of talking, done a lot of thinking about what I find really convincing about Substack. So let me give you a second for you to share. What do you find most exciting about Substack based on what we talked? Which of these arguments or which of these talking points do you find most attractive for your own case? Because you might be here for various reasons. You might have an online business and might be looking to actually grow your audience. You might be looking to grow your existing email newsletter. You might be looking for a brand new place to enter, or you might have never published anything in your life, and this might be the very first platform that you actually publish on. Depending on what your goal is and what your status quo is, what you find most exciting about the platform might be very diverse and different. I see lots of different answers already. I see Alexander saying newsletter building. Kieran said the built-in audience, what you're saying with the magnet. Awesome. Becca said building an audience that is fully bought in. Catherine said communications hub to promote my book. That's awesome. Sky says it's cheaper and better than MailChimp. Depends on the features you want. It's free to start on Substack. So yeah, it's absolutely cheaper. Blake says, I love that you can create community and build a solid following. Awesome. Although I may move to a new platform for community, this is a great start and can provide value now. Exactly. Yeah. If you want to eventually build a membership, for example, you want to create a safe space with group calls, with trainings, etc., you can always bring in another tool. But this is a starting point that allows you to tap into your target audience, to show your work, and to get started. Awesome. I love that we have such a variety in the answers, because it also shows that everyone here in the room can actually benefit greatly from each other's experiences and learn from each other in a fantastic way as well. Now let's move on to our second point of the training. Let's talk about why the top 1% of Substack writers and generally of creators don't wait until they are ready or until they feel ready. Because if you're anything like me, at some point you might have thought, or you're still thinking, I don't know if my knowledge is even worth sharing. What if people don't listen to me? What if I'm not enough of an expert and I don't actually have anything valuable to say? Why would anyone actually pay attention to my writing, right? As someone who started to write and post at a very young age, I certainly had all these doubts. And looking back, I can say that imposter syndrome is trying to sabotage you. So if you had any of those thoughts, you're not alone. And there are ways to overcome it. And there are different ways to think about it. Because the biggest lie is that you need to be the ultimate expert and have a degree in writing for people to pay attention to your work. That's simply not true. The truth is that readers are desperately looking for imperfect but relatable voices who actually care about helping them. And I actually pulled in some last-minute slides here this morning because I want to share something personal with you real quick. I signed up for my first marathon yesterday. I started to run earlier this year. I just finished my first half marathon a couple weeks ago. And now, obviously, I'm looking for creators and for content that will guide me through this journey and that will keep me accountable and motivated above all. And on this journey, I'm looking for relatable creators. And here's one of the runners that I'm personally following on Instagram, for example. So Francie says, she's a slow runner, big eater. I love it. That resonates with me. I am a slow runner. I have no intention of running fast. I am just, I want to survive. I just want to get to the finish line. I have no interest in being faster than anyone else, being faster than myself. It's just about the journey, about the process, and content like this and creators like her resonate with me because that's exactly what I'm after. Now, there are also other creators who are absolute experts and pros, but they are a bit unrelatable to me personally because we have another person here, for example. She says she's a runner, she's a coach, She's a sports scientist and a nutritionist. I'm sure her content is massively valuable. She has an audience of 270,000 followers, but also in her bio, she is sharing that she has finished the half marathon in 1 hour and 14 minutes. It took me twice as long to finish mine, which means even though she probably knows a lot about the subject, I cannot really relate to her. She says that her marathon time is 2 hours and 47 minutes. It will probably take me twice that long to actually get to the finish line. Again, I would be amazing to be a fast runner, but I'm not. I'm like the other person, right? I just want to enjoy the journey. I want to, be pain-free. I want to avoid injuries, and I want to enjoy the process. And that's why you have such a huge spectrum of experts and of people who can share their message without one being better than the other. Because some people would never follow a slow running account because they want to run faster, or because they are slow, but they only want to follow people they look up to. And other people are more like me. They want to be on the more realistic side, on the more calm side and chill side of running. And they don't want to chase those personal bests with every single race they run. We need creators who can help us take that next step. And that next step can be tiny. It can be very simple, but sometimes you really need someone who has been there and who can guide you and who can really take you by the hand or hand over the right resources and information. And when I started writing, I started imperfectly as well. I'm not a native English speaker, but I've only ever written in English when I started, ever since I started. I have no professional education or experience in writing. I literally started writing without even spell checking my work. And that's probably one of the many reasons why I haven't been able to build my audience for almost 2 years when I started out. I also didn't have any support system because I didn't know anyone who was writing, let alone writing online. Back in 2018, content creation itself has not been as popular as it is now, and there's just not been many communities and many people to bounce off ideas with. So I've done it all by myself for the first couple of years. And if you are here and you're just thinking of getting started, one or several of these points might actually resonate with you. And I'm just here to say that you don't have to have it all figured out. But of course, you being here means that you want to gain a head start and you want to avoid certain mistakes to make sure that you are not wasting your time, at least not as enormously as lots of people like me have wasted years in their beginning stages. Instead of wasting your time and instead of doubting yourself, the top 1% of creators are usually focused on helping others, on building trust, and on guiding readers and guiding their audience one step at a time. Again, you don't have to build a massive library of work. You don't have to have everything figured out, but you do it one single step at a time. At Write Build Scale, we didn't grow to now over 750 paid subscribers because our writing is flawless, because of perfect execution, or because of groundbreaking ideas. No, we grow because we know exactly who we can help, and we do our very best to show up for our audience, to show up for our clients and for readers. We pay attention to their comments, we pay attention to their feedback, and we try to get a little bit better with every single step that we take on our end. And one more analogy that I really love is to think of your writing as a bridge. Your reader starts at point A. That's one end of the bridge. That's their current struggle or maybe a goal that they have. In my case, it would be me wanting to go from being able to run a half marathon to running my first full marathon. That's my point A. Is I'm here now. This was hard, but I know the next step will be even harder. So I need that bridge to kind of help me get to that next point. Because the next point, the point I want to get to, is point B. That's your dream outcome. It's the solution. It's why you are consuming the content if you're reading educational content and content that will actually propel you forward. Now, each piece of content you write, each piece of content you create is one step one step you take on that bridge. And the truth is, you don't need to build the whole bridge at once. If you are the creator, all you have to do is lay one single plank down at a time. And that's how you can literally transform lives without being a self-preaching guru, without trying to pretend that you know it all, or without in any way being someone who has to have everything figured out. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to have that desire to guide someone from point A to point B. So if you've been thinking, am I expert enough? Does my knowledge matter? The answer is yes, if you care enough, because as I said before, content is worthless. Content is available for free. Content can be created really quickly. So the creators who do make a difference and who grow right now, and who this won't change anytime soon because AI tools are only getting more powerful. So the human component will be more and more rare and more valuable. You can grow your audience starting from scratch without having all the tech and tools and methods figured out, if you care enough to show up and genuinely guide people from one point to the next point. The world doesn't need more self-proclaimed experts who think highly of themselves. Instead, we need creators who genuinely care about their message and about their audience, about genuinely helping people by sharing their experiences, by sharing what they have learned along the way. Now, if any of this resonated with you, let me know in the chat. Let's do a quick check-in. Let's lock this in. Say I can do this in the chat if you're excited about leveraging this opportunity for yourself, particularly if you've had some doubts in the past, if you haven't been sure whether you know enough and whether your knowledge is good enough or whether it's actually valuable enough. Awesome. I see lots of people saying I can do this. Amazing. Awesome. And the chat is actually scrolling so quickly past me that I cannot stop it to point out your names right now. Lou was not convinced at first, but then said, okay, I believe you, I can do this. Awesome. We still got some time to convince you that you are ready to do this. So yeah, I also see that we've had lots of questions ready for the Q&A already. My team is putting them into the Q&A box so that we can tackle them one after the other. Amazing. All right, let's move to the next step, actually. Let's move to secret number 3 right away so that we have all the questions ready for the Q&A at the end. This is the point that is the most closest to my heart, actually, because it's something that I have done wrong for many years and that I believe is fundamental if you are starting out now. I just said before, content is not your primary asset anymore. It's your knowledge, it's your willingness to help people, and it's your connections. It's your connection between you and your reader, but also you and people who can help you and people who can be great supporters on your journey. Because you might also be thinking that you will just experiment and you'll try to figure things out by yourself. You'll just give it a shot all alone and you'll see how far you can go. But there's one mistake that we see over and over again, and it's that most writers waste months, sometimes even years, on trial and error just to realize that they've been doing the wrong things all along. Because another huge lie for creators that you have probably seen dozens of times at this point is just be consistent. Show up consistently, post consistently, and your audience will grow. But this might have been true 10 years ago, as I said, when platforms were not as big and as saturated as they are right now. It's not true anymore, because consistency only works if you're consistently improving. If you don't have a feedback loop, if you're not getting support, consistency alone won't take you anywhere, because you need feedback, you need clear guidance, and you need a support system that has your back. This is crucial, because doing all of this alone means that you're on the slow lane, because you never know if you're actually doing the right thing. You might be publishing notes on Substack, you might be doing 1 note a day, 2 notes a day, you might be doing a weekly post, you do this for 6 months and you still haven't really grown your audience. And you're really frustrated because you think to yourself, I am showing up, I'm doing great work, my work is worth reading, it is valuable, I'm pouring my heart into it, but I'm just not getting the visibility. And that's because you don't have that feedback loop. You don't have anyone telling you, oh, next time make this change, or here is a creator who actually has access to your target audience. Let's, get the two of you together into a room and make sure that those readers who are actively looking for your content actually get access to it and see it in their feeds and in their inboxes. On Substack, growth comes fastest through collaboration, support, and recommendations. And this is why I said in the beginning, we didn't grow our audience through viral content or weird growth hacks, because a massive part of our growth has actually come through collaborations and different Substack features. Recommendations, for example. On Substack, you can recommend creators and they can recommend you back. So in our case, we have gained more than 6,000 subscribers just through recommendations. That's a massive number, because when you have 6,000 email subscribers, you essentially have a digital business. You can, if you do it correctly with 6,000 subscribers, you can make a full-time income. You can make a living serving 6,000 subscribers. This is a massive number. And this has nothing to do with campaigns or marketing hacks or, how often you show up. It's basically you connecting with others who have access to your audience, building trust, building connections, making sure that they actually want to display your publication, your work in front of their audience, because they are thinking that you do a fantastic job and they trust you. But that's only the tip of the iceberg, because the truth is that there are dozens of ways to leverage collaborations on Substack. One more thing that we have started just recently is we started a podcast. On Substack, you can start a podcast. That podcast is also available on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. We even have a YouTube channel for it. But the primary goal of the podcast in our case is to build a network, to build collaborations, to bring in guests who we think will provide massive value to our audience and who will hopefully share the episode with their audience so that they might actually end up subscribing to Write, Build, Scale. Again, this is a simple but additional way for you to get exposure and to build smart partnerships. Another thing we love to do on Substack in particular is live streams with guests. And you might actually know some of our partners that you've seen on the previous slides or here, David. Let me know in the chat real quick if you are here thanks to David. David McElroy is one of our, I could even say, long-term partners now. We've been collaborating for slightly over a year. We do lots of live streams. We do postings like this that we do based on these live sessions, simply because we know there is an overlap in our audiences. And we, instead of treating each other as a competition, we want to leverage this opportunity and we want to support each other to grow faster and to grow more effectively. Another thing that is more attractive if you don't want to do any videos, for example, is you can do postings where you feature other people in your niche, in your topic area. So, for example, I did this very simple article where I asked 12 creators what they would do differently if they had to start all over on Substack. these are 12 people who are doing really great on the platform, 12 people who have an audience that I know has an overlap with my target audience. And as you can see, the article has been received really well. They have all shared great value. They have shared the piece with their audiences. And this is a really simple way for you to start collaborating with others to create value together. And this is not just something we say here and then, we do it, but we don't actually share more strategies on it. We actually talk about this all the time in our community, in our courses, in our programs, and we love to see our students take action on it. And I just brought one very specific, or two amazing examples, actually. We have Sue here and Ilham from our community. Sue and Ilham have connected in our private community, just like many others. And Sue is doing lots and lots of Substack live streams. She's talking about confidence, and she is inviting lots of guests into her live streams to talk about various different aspects of confidence. In this particular case, she had another member from the community join her to talk about her aspects, about her point of view. And as I said, this is just one example. She also had Stella, another member from the community, on her show. And this is an amazing way for you to start putting yourself right where your audience is. This is literally you putting your magnet closer to the metal so that it can actually attract the right people. And you can start doing this even if you are starting from scratch, but you can also do this when you're starting with a massive audience like we did. We joined Substack. We were new to Substack, but we had an external email list. We had experience on other platforms, and still collaborations and partnerships have been the #1 driver for our growth. Because Substack is the perfect hub for collaboration, for connection, and for mutual growth. Now we're almost an hour into the session. I see amazing comments and questions already in the chat. I see Jordan here. I've been on a group call with all of them. They are great. Hi, Jordan. Nikki said, so if you're starting from zero, how does live streaming help if no one sees it? Ideally, team up with people who already have, even if it's a tiny audience, who have people they write for, who have people who trust them. That could be a perfect starting point. You can also do live streams with 0 people, to be fair, if you want to try, if you want to give it a shot, because it might put the pressure off of you. And if you do a quick 5-10 minute session, you can use the recording and publish it as a post on your publication. That way, people who come across your publication will then see the video later on, and that might be a way for you to build trust and gain traction as well. But ideally, in the beginning, if you can find partners who are already a few small steps ahead of you, that would be perfect. All right. Perfect. We're almost an hour in. So let's check. Let's check in on the room again. Use the chat and type in, I will do it, if you are excited about actually growing your own Substack publication by using some or many of these ideas. If you're in the mood, let me know which of those you are excited to explore first, so we can see what's resonating with most people over here. Awesome. Everyone agrees you'll do it. Collaboration, says John. Joanna said we're going into live streams soon. Jack says live streams, record and post. Awesome. Jen said, how do we find people to collaborate with? Well, there are so many different ways to do that. And Substack makes it really easy for you to actually build those connections. Start by paying attention in your feed. Who are the creators that resonate with you and that are at a similar stage as you are. Now, if you are a beginner and you have 0 subscribers or 10 subscribers, it might be tough to reach out to someone with 10,000 subscribers, right? But if you reach out to someone at a similar stage, you can find common ground really quickly. You can also reach out to someone with a much bigger audience. In that case, you want to be sure that you actually have a great valuable asset that you can provide to their audience. Reach out with a very specific idea on how to collaborate. If it's a live stream, for example, you could literally tell them, hey, this is a topic that I don't see people talk about very often, but I have this technique, strategy, story that has great potential that I think your audience will really enjoy. So what do you say? Do we want to do this together? And you can literally start by commenting on their notes just to get on their radar on the beginning. You can check if they have a subscriber chat, and then you can message them privately. Just make sure that it's genuine. A partnership only works if there's a win-win situation. And if you don't have a big audience yet, you need to bring something else to the table. And there are lots of different ways you can provide value to someone, but you just have to be very clear about it, because the other person might not want to, go 10 messages back and forth until they actually understand how you can provide value to them. And if I have an audience, then my audience is my biggest asset, and their trust is my biggest asset, right? So you don't want to abuse that trust. You want to make sure that the partner you're bringing in is actually going to value the trust and time that they have. All right, Suzanne just asked, what is the cost of live streaming? You can live stream on Substack for free, which is pretty amazing as well, because lots of other live streaming tools that you would need on platforms like Facebook and like YouTube, etc., where you want to have guests on, they're actually not free. It's free on Substack. All right. Let's move on so that we can then move into the Q&A session with Yari by my side. We've talked about a lot of topics, a lot of touch points today. And now I want you to imagine for a second how it will feel when you know that you're writing for readers who genuinely care about your work, because that's our goal, right? We don't just want big numbers in terms of followers and audience and subscribers. We also want to know that we are making a difference, and we want to know that our writing is reaching an audience that actually values it and needs our work. But I also want you to imagine how it will feel when you get paid to do what you love, no matter if this is a side income or you actually want to write for a living and build your own business. And imagine how it will feel when you build a lasting foundation for your writing career, for your career as a creator, as an expert, as a coach, a consultant, whatever your goal is. You build that foundation, and you know that whatever your next stage is, you are set up for success because you have an email list, you have an audience that trusts you, you have built a massive, fantastic library of work that is basically selling you, because people come across your work and they start to trust you for what you have written in the past. Now, if those resonate with you, and if those ideas and the image of being at that stage resonates with you, you are ready to step up and leverage Substack's growth opportunities to build your own audience and business. And when you want to do that, you essentially have two options, two paths that you can choose from. You can rely on trial and error. You can try to do it all by yourself. And you might run the risk of wasting your time and potentially burning out way too soon, because you will pour your heart and soul into your work without people actually discovering it and appreciating it. The second option you have is to rely on proven systems and to rely on frameworks and a path that is laid out for you, so that all you have to do is follow it step by step, so that you can focus on your strengths, on your message, and on your writing. And to make this possible for you, we created your Substack system. We created Substack system because it is your step-by-step playbook to build your audience, your income, and your freedom in record time. And when you join Substack System, our flagship program, what you will get is a simple framework or different simple frameworks to remove the guesswork, so you always know what to do next and how to do it. You'll get proven systems to grow your audience. You'll get actionable video lessons, a private community of like-minded writers, creators, and entrepreneurs. And inside the program, we have prepared 4 core modules for you. What you will learn is we'll dive into Substack notes, because for most creators, for many writers, this is the #1 way to gain initial traction, because you can turn notes into viral loops that attract new subscribers consistently. You can spark conversations that build trust fast and transform bite-sized ideas into steady audience growth. Then you'll learn about the publication side of things. We'll help you design a publication that attracts and converts readers, write posts that engage and turn readers into supporters, and build a publishing system that grows without leading to burnout. We'll talk about publication collaborations in detail, all the collaboration opportunities that you can leverage so that you can find and connect with the right creators to grow faster together, how to use recommendations, cross promos to reach new audiences every single week, and turn simple collaborations into steady subscriber growth. Because every time you do show up and create assets, you want to make sure that you can actually leverage them into the future as well. So when you do hop on a live stream, for example, you don't want the live stream to be gone when the stream is actually over. You want to leverage it as an asset. You want to have it on your publication. You want the partner to share it with their audience once again, so that you both gain massive value from it. And last but not least, we talk extensively about monetization. We help you craft paid offers your readers cannot resist, so they happily support your work in your paid tier. We help you turn free subscribers into paying fans without being salesy or pushy. And we help you build a simple funnel that grows steady recurring income so that you can successfully monetize your work directly on the platform. Now let's talk really quickly about what exactly you will get when you join Substack System. You get the entire Substack System video course, but that's only the tip of the iceberg with all the modules and lessons that we have just talked about, because we have prepared amazing bonuses for our members. We are meeting for weekly live group coaching sessions with you so that you can get direct feedback, stay consistent and motivated, and connect with like-minded writers. We already talked about how important it is to have that feedback loop, to have that community support, and we're making it stupidly easy for you to actually take advantage of that. As a second bonus, we have created the Substack bestseller case study, where we help you learn exactly how we have built a best-selling publication with over 100 paid subscribers within 60 days. Your journey might look slightly different depending on where you start, but the exact steps that we've laid out here are applicable no matter in what niche you write and whether you want to do this in 60 days, 600 days, or more. You are able to replicate that journey and you are able to make it your own depending on your bandwidth, your resources, and the way you want to grow your publication. But you're also getting more. You're getting our Substack expert interview series, where you learn about growth, writing, monetization, and storytelling from 10 plus different Substackers. And we're always interviewing and bringing on more guests into the community to help you learn from various different voices as well. Your fourth bonus is the Substack operation system. This is your personalized toolbox with plug and play frameworks and templates for every single step of your Substack journey. You get this delivered on Notion so that you can really make it your own and leverage it to the full extension. But we're still not done, because we've prepared even more for you today. As a fifth bonus, you're getting access to our support and accountability community so that you can get supported by us as your coaches and your like-minded creators all the time. And in this community, you don't only have a space where you can bounce off ideas, share questions that get encouragement, but it is also a space where you can celebrate your wins, where you can share the amazing steps and strategies that have actually worked out for you. We have Janice here, for example, who has subscribed or who has celebrated her 300 subscribers on the platform recently. Or we have members crossing their first 100 subscribers and celebrating with us. Or Janet here, who has crossed more than 1,000 and was close to celebrating the next milestone. This is really important because a community like this and an encouraging, supporting environment helps you keep going so that you don't give up on yourself too easily. And on top of all of that, for the first time, we have actually teamed up and are bringing an AI growth companion to our members as well. If you join Substack system with us, you are now also getting 3 months of access to WriteStack, which is a tool that helps you discover top performing notes, generate AI-powered note ideas, and schedule your notes days, weeks, or months in advance. And to make sure that you are able to leverage this tool, we are actually hosting a live training with the founder of WriteStack so that you know exactly how to best use it in your own work and publication. Now let's sum it up real quick. You're getting access to the entire Substack system video course with the 4 core modules that I've laid out before. You're getting invited to weekly group coaching sessions with us, the bestseller case study, the expert interview series that is growing, the entire operations system on Notion, our support and accountability community, and the AI growth companion WriteStack. And right now, the only question is, are you ready to grow your publication, and are you ready to grow your publication together? Because you're now able to join us inside Substack system for only $497. And this is a special deal that we haven't made ever before, and we're opening the doors right now and are looking forward to welcoming so many of you inside the program so that we can meet up with you starting next week with our first coaching sessions and help you build your publications, your audiences, and your strong foundation on the platform. I see that my partners have already put the link up there, so you're now able to sign up to grab your entire bonus package and log right in. I already see Rajini saying, do you have a payment plan? Yes, we do. I will bring it up in a second, but you can also join us through a payment plan. If you go to the link that you will see on the top of your chat, you will also see the payment plan up there. All right. You guys, this is a way for us to work with creators who know that they want to take this seriously. You're joining the masterclass because you want to see if this is right for you, if you want to invest into Substack, if you are ready to take the next steps. And as I've said before, a massive portion of our growth has been possible thanks to our partners, thanks to the people who have supported us, lifted us up, and you might actually be here thanks to some of them today. So let me know in the chat real quick. Yana has been one of our big partners, for example, or Derek or David, who we have already mentioned before. So if you are here thanks to any of them, let me know real quickly in the chat. These partners have made it possible for us to grow our audiences steadily, to share our knowledge, not just with our audiences, but also with their audiences. And we love to create these growth loops and these opportunities to grow together. I see lots of comments and questions in the chat. We will get there in a second. Let me briefly summarize who Substack system is for and who we have built this program for, so that you know whether this is a fit for you or not. Substack system is for new writers who want to start the right way. So if you're just taking your first steps and you want to avoid wasting any time, that's your shot. It's for writers and creators who want faster growth. So if you've been dabbling around and you want to finally take this seriously, that's your chance as well. It's for authors, coaches, and founders looking for a new way to grow their audience. And it's for experts who want to monetize their knowledge and experience in the digital world. Now, we've had students inside this program in various fields and niches. We have people writing about various aspects of personal growth, about technology, about marketing, about finances, about sports and fitness, about culture, education, and so many other topics. And the beauty of being surrounded by different people is that you get to learn from their experiences as well. We have people like Larry, for example, who said that building a business is much simpler and less stressful when you have a tested framework to follow. And Substack System provides a step-by-step path that helps you implement the best practices of other successful businesses. It continues to save me time, struggle, and frustration, and easily pays for itself. And I also saw before that we had Jordan here in the chat with us, actually. Jordan has also been a member of Substack System and a massively successful one, actually. Jordan said, I almost tripled my revenue from the publication and even started selling other digital products. By now, he has more than tripled his revenue, I'm sure. Substack System basically paid for itself in less than 2 months. And what I love about Jordan's journey is that his publication is very specific. He is talking to data engineers. His publication is called Data Gibberish, and he already has more than 7,000 subscribers on the publication. But that's not all. After joining us, he has not only grown his publication, he has also built successful digital products. So he got his first pre-orders with us, he made his first sales, and it's been a massively rewarding experience to see him grow his publication, reach the right people, and actually share his knowledge with the world. Now, before we move into the Q&A, let's address this real quick. As we said before, you basically have 2 options now. You can do nothing and keep trying it on your own without knowing what to do and how to make things work. The problem is that you might run into the risk of wasting your time and being in this exact spot a year from now. The second option you have is you follow a step-by-step roadmap while being part of a group of thriving writers, getting feedback on your work, and receiving clear answers to all your questions. And your path to do so is to join us inside Substack System. I already saw the question about payment plans before. So this is our payment plan option. You can now go to substacksystem.com/offer and join us with the payment plan right away. Let me see what we already have in the Q&A and what you guys want to know and learn about. Sophie said, is this a one-time purchase with no expiry date? You have lifetime access to the entire Substack System course. The community access is for 3 months. We want you to get the most out of the coaching sessions and the community for the next 3 months, because we know that this is a motivation for you to actually take it seriously, to show up and to do the work. After the 3 months, you can decide if you still want to continue to be part of the community or not. Either way, you keep access to the entire course materials. And if we make any updates to the course, you keep the updates as well. You keep receiving the most up-to-date versions of the videos because Substack is changing rapidly and because we do expect more and more changes to actually happen to the platform. They're shipping new features so often that it's really important for us to make sure you always have the most up-to-date information in there. All right, let's see. Sabrina said, when do the 3 months start? The 3 months start right away when you join us. So our first coaching sessions that you'll be able to join are already happening next week. And you will then be able to continue with the calls based on your own schedule. Nikki said, when are the coaching calls held? That's actually very diverse because we have members in all over the world. So we are hosting many coaching sessions in different time slots so that more members are actually able to join us. We are based in Europe, so we have sessions that are happening in our evening time or our morning time so that our members from other countries are able to join us as well. And we always have multiple coaching sessions per week. All right. Let's see what else I wanted to share with you before we have Yari on the Q&A as well. Since you've been with us for over an hour now, we have actually prepared an additional bonus. If you've already joined Substack system, and I already see some numbers on my sheet here, some names on my sheet here of members who have already signed up, you are also getting access to this bonus. We have prepared something special exclusively for people who are right here in the room with us live. If you decide to join us, you will additionally be invited to book a free private coaching call so that we can help you set up your publication for success, so that you get one-on-one feedback on your work and implement personalized growth strategies. This is a limited time chance to join right now and secure your bonus. You will get the link to book your free private coaching call with us so that you know you're starting off on the right foot. This is something that we cannot offer for unlimited people. That's why we're making it specifically only for live attendees of the session. So if you've been on the fence and not sure if you want to join right now, we hope that this makes it easier for you to decide, because we know that this is not available anywhere else, and it's a massive opportunity for you to be sure that you're starting off on the right foot. So now, with all of this, the real question I want you to ask yourself is, are you excited enough about what this could do for you? And even if it only does half of what I've claimed today, would it be worth checking out? And to make it even easier for you, we have a 30-day money back guarantee, because we are 100% confident about the impact Substack system will have on your writing, on your content, your audience, your growth, your income. But if you join us, complete the program, apply what you learn, and believe that your investment wasn't worth it, you can apply for a full refund with us, and we will give you your money back. What's important for us to point out here is that we need you to actually do the work. We are not promising you that your publication or audience will grow magically, because we're not handing over a magic button. We are handing you over a system, strategies, and the opportunity to grow with intention. But we need you to actually check out the resources, make sure that you're implementing them, you're applying what you learn, come into the coaching sessions, ask whenever you have questions, show us the work you do, and basically get our feedback every step of the way. So if this is a matter of you not trusting the program, here is our guarantee. If you are not trusting yourself, I can promise that you will be able to make it work, because you will be surrounded by people who want to see you win. And if you're now able, you can take the first and final step. You can go to substacksystem.com/offer. You will see the checkout page, whether you join the one-time payment option or the payment plan, doesn't matter. You will instantly get access to the course resources, and you will be able to activate your community access right away, so that you can already join the first coaching sessions next week. Now imagine for a second what it will feel like being part of such a community full of writers who actually want to see you win. And we have many members who don't just come and stay for the resources, but actually for the community. Like Oshiel here, who said, they make it easy by bringing together like-minded individuals working towards the same goal, especially if you are an introvert, because he said, as an introvert, it was really hard for me to make connections. Or Stella here, who said that Substack system is about implementation from day one. It's structured, supportive, and rich in value. And we want you to be surrounded by people who really want to support you as well. Now, I think we are ready to move into the Q&A session. Once again, you're able to join us right now for the single payment of $497 or the payment plan for 3 months. I would love to have Yari with me now, so that we still have enough room for all the questions in the Q&A tab before the bonus coaching call expires. Ruth said, please explain the coaching call one-on-one. Ruth, when you join us now, you will receive an email with a calendar link from us, so that you can book a session where you will be able to talk to one of us, and basically we'll make sure that you are set up for success and that you can take the right next steps on your publication. Hey, Yari.
Hey, Sinem.
Let's do this.
I'm looking forward to the
answer some questions.
Yes, we got a bunch of questions in the chat today, so that's been amazing. Looking forward to tackling them all.
Awesome. Is there anything that stood out to you that you want to start with? Any burning questions that have been asked several times?
Yes, you might have just answered it when I was jumping here in the room, but a common question was how much of a time commitment Substack system is.
I didn't answer that one yet.
Okay, so it's in that sense a self-paced course. So you determine yourself how much time you want to spend on it and how much time you have available for it. And when it comes to the group coaching sessions, we usually host 2 sessions per week. Those sessions are 1 hour each. But if you cannot attend those sessions live or you miss a few of them, you can simply watch the replay on your own pace as well. Also, the strategies that we recommend in the course, you can really take that at your own pace, right? It's not that you have to all of a sudden spend 10 or 20 hours per week on this. You can really do it alongside your schedule. We designed this whole system with busy people in mind, right? If you have a full-time job, if you're maybe a parent, if you have a busy personal life, then you're still able to follow along at your own pace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's, we've all been offering courses, cohorts, and programs like this for a while, and it's really important for us to make sure that this is realistic. It's realistic that you have a full-time job, that you have other responsibilities, and we want this to actually still feel great. We don't want you to feel like this course is a burden. You should love every time you log into the course, every time you come to the community sessions. You should have a lot of fun building your publication and doing amazing work.
Mm-hmm. I see one more question from Elena asking, is it okay to not join the community? Yes, absolutely. If you simply just want to follow the course and access the operating system, watch the expert interviews, and not join the community, that's also completely fine. Mm-hmm. Or if you decide to join the community maybe later when it suits you better, timing-wise, that's also completely fine. So know that that's flexible.
Talking about community, I see lots of names already of Substackers who've already joined us. So I quickly want to say hello and welcome. I see Diana, Jack, David, Russell, Jean, Nikki, Rogini, Samantha, Bianca, and a few other names that I cannot scroll through. I saw Ellie just joined us. So hello and welcome to all of you. If you're still here, we're thrilled to have you inside the program. Keep an eye on your inbox. You will receive all the details on how to unlock your community access very, very shortly, and we're thrilled to have you inside the program.
I see another common question is if there are any ongoing charges, or similar question, what is the cost of staying with the community and group coaching after the 3 months of access? So there are no ongoing charges with the course itself. This is just a one-time payment, and then you have access to the course and those bonuses, and then you have access to the group coaching and community for 3 months. If you want to continue being a part of the community in the group coaching sessions, that is $97 per month, or there's a 3-month payment option, which is slightly more affordable.
Exactly, $275 per quarter, so it's less than $100 per month, which still gives you access to the entire community experience with several coaching calls per week, so that you can really make sure you are always on track, always on the right path, and always getting our feedback on the work you do.
Suzanne says, trouble with the offer. I have questions I can't figure out. Well, Suzanne, either feel free to send an email to support@rightbuildskill.com, and we're happy to help you out. Or contact Philip in the chat, and he might be able to help you out in real time, depending on the questions you have.
Exactly. Let's check out some other questions from the Q&A. I saw one from Jeff saying, must the Substack writer's niche be highly specific, or could a more general niche work well? That's a very general question that's hard to answer. The truth is, the more specific your value proposition is, the easier it is for you to find your audience and to create value for them. But you can start broad and experiment with different topics to find out what you actually want to do. Because since you're asking that question, I will assume that you do have different topics in mind and you don't want to be too niche and specific just yet. Long-term specificity will help you grow faster and more reliably, but you don't have to start with something very specific in mind. And we actually help you figure that out throughout your journey inside Substack system. And if this is a question on your mind, I highly advise you to join us now, because your one-on-one bonus coaching call will be the perfect opportunity to talk about this as well.
Alan says, can I join the Substack system later? Money or the lack thereof is a real problem. Can this be purchased later? So we do have the payment plan available if that suits you better as of right now. The course will probably be open later as well, but right now we're offering all of these limited time bonuses. So it is in that sense a good time to step into the program, or again, make use of the payment plan if that suits you better at this moment in time.
Yeah. I still see some new members who have just joined us. I quickly want to say hello and welcome to Beth and Ruth as well. And a few other names that we've missed before. I also see Ulrich, who has joined us just now. Hello and welcome to the program. Awesome. Let's see what other questions we have.
Ruth says, I am in and have paid, but put the wrong email in. Ruth, feel free to email at support@rightbuildscale.com and we'll help you out to get your access your way ASAP.
Yeah. I see a question from Laura saying, has anyone here actually gone through Substack system? Curious what kind of results you saw, how many subs you picked up, how long it took you to get paying readers, or it felt it paid for itself. Would love some honest numbers if you're open to sharing. The members that we have just shared in the slides are all people who have gone through the course. Actually, I don't know if anyone is still with us in the chat, but we have lots of amazing creators who have gone through the program with us. And the truth is that this program has actually only existed since the beginning of the year. So all our success stories have been built within less than a year. A couple of months actually that they've been with us, so that they've been able to create amazing results like we've seen with Jordan, for example, within a relatively short period of time. And that's why we are so pumped about Substack, as I said at the very beginning, because this opportunity is quite unique right now. So many new readers are joining the platform. The creator space is growing as well, but it's only an advantage right now because it's helping you tap into those existing bubbles and audiences that are already out there. So Laura, feel free to check out some of the writers that we have mentioned. Message us directly if you want to see some other publications that are built by writers we have worked with. And yeah, we have some really amazing case studies that we're proud to present.
I see another question from Rachel says, I'm sure you've already said it, but is it actually only available for the next 10 minutes? So Rachel, for the next 10 minutes, or at least until the masterclass we're running it, that's when you can get the limited time bonus, which is the one-on-one private coaching call. So that won't be available anymore from tomorrow onwards, or the moment we end the masterclass. So that's purely for this limited time bonus, right? That's still available for the next 10 minutes. So if you're looking to get a private coaching call, which likely will be with me, then yeah, the next few minutes, it's still available. I see another question. Are you also planning to answer the questions already posted here? Yes, Karen, absolutely. I've made a list of a bunch of questions that you've asked here in the chat that we will be going over for the next few minutes for sure. Ragini, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, says, how long is the private coaching call? So the private coaching call is a 30-minute private coaching call. All right. One question that I see that was very common that people asked throughout the masterclass, which is pretty interesting to dive into, is what is the difference between posts and notes, and when should you use each of them? I think this is a very common confusion people have on Substack. So posts are more your long form writing, your newsletters. They go out through your publication and they go out to all of your email subscribers. So it directly goes to people's email inboxes. And notes, that's what you see on the homepage of Substack. Those are short form writing. So that could be just a quote. It could be a very short piece of advice. It could even be a picture of your dog, something that I'm sharing a lot. Something more of your personal life. So notes is more like short form writing, and that goes out, that can actually also go viral. It can go to people who don't know you, who haven't subscribed to you. So it's a really good way to grow your audience. And then posts is actually what goes out to your email subscribers. So that is the big difference. And in general, we recommend posting one note a day if that's possible, and one post per week.
Yeah. I saw a question from Sabrina saying, does the course help with learning to navigate the platform itself? That's actually a great question if you're brand new to Substack. We actually have a module 0 before we dive into the core modules, where we help you with the absolute basics. And then when it comes to actually posting and setting up your publication, designing your publication, all those kinds of things that you do on the platform directly, we have very specific videos where we guide you through them. So you don't have to be familiar with Substack as a platform. If you are, you can basically skip module 0. But if you're starting from absolute scratch, we guide you through the very first steps as well.
Jael asks, I'm going into a meditation retreat in 2 weeks. Until January 7th, if I sign up today, which part of this offer can I actually use? So that's a great question, right? So the course itself is completely self-paced and you have lifetime access to it. Alongside with the expert interviews, you have lifetime access to it. The operation system, you have lifetime access to it. When it comes to the group coaching calls, the community access and RightStack access, that's access for 3 months. However, you can say, I'm going to start with the access when you are back from your meditation retreat in January. And from that point onwards, you have 3 months access to all of those bonuses. So I would simply redeem them at a later date. Now, of course, right now, we're going to start with a cohort of a lot of new people, a lot of new creators that have been joining us today. So maybe you miss out on that, but you can still join the community group coaching calls for the full 3 months when it's most convenient to you and your schedule.
Awesome. I see so many new members already, so I quickly want to say welcome once again. I see Simon, I see David, Sophie, Claire, Esai, Anna, Diana, Kelly. Welcome to Substack System. We're excited to have you here. Please make sure you check your confirmation emails so that you can activate your community access right away, and we'll see you inside the community very soon. I also see a few more interesting questions. Liz said, I wrote a note and I don't know if anyone even read it. Is there a way to know? You actually do have stats on your notes that show you what happened through a note or what happened thanks to a note. So when your note gets visibility, you can even see how many new followers did the note generate. Did it generate any paid subscriptions, for example? So you do have access to those stats on your notes directly. And I saw one more question from Suzanne that I quickly want to touch on. Suzanne said, is there a phone number where we can ask questions? I dislike sites that make me speak to a chatbot. We actually don't have a chatbot because we hate that idea ourselves. You can always email us at support@writebillscale.com. And if you feel like you have some questions that you want to discuss in detail, email us saying that you want to hop on a quick call and we'll make that happen as well. We understand that there are sometimes some special cases that might might make you want to speak to one directly. So email us at support@rightbuildscale.com, and we'll get back to you either with the answers you need or with a call that you can book with one of us.
I see that Beth and Sheila have the same question. So how do we set up the private bonus coaching call after purchase? Yeah, so you will get an email with a Calendly link. I think that email will be in your inbox tomorrow, where you can book the private coaching call through that Calendly link. So you can book it at a time and date convenient for you. That could be next week already, or in a few weeks, or even a few months from today, if that suits you better. We're pretty flexible on that. But this offer is only available if you join Substack system today while we're still running the masterclass.
Yeah. On that note, I also see some questions from previous members or members of our other programs. So I see Patricia and Juan's questions, not being sure what you currently have access to. Please also message us, email us at support@rightbuildscale.com so that we can look into your specific cases, send you the correct links to whatever you currently have access to, and so we can figure this out together, because it's hard for us to give you the correct answer right now as we cannot look into your accounts.
I see that Alan has a question. It is just after 4 a.m. Well, Alan, I really appreciate you being with us here at after 4 a.m. I cannot authorize this purchase right now. How do I get the system after this masterclass? Yeah, so Alan, the Substack system will still be available for the next few days, but the private coaching call unfortunately won't be part of that, because that's only available on the masterclass for everyone who's joining us right now. But for the next few days, Substack system will still be available. And after that, we will be bumping up the price and removing some of the limited time bonuses as well.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Karen said, I think of notes being like tweets, posts, like newsletters or blogs. That's a great way to look at it, actually. And I see, related to that, I see a question saying, what does the followers number consist of? And what does it mean? So people on Substack can also just follow you instead of subscribing to your publication. If they follow you, they might see your notes, for example, but they are not an email subscriber. So essentially, the follower count is worthless, because that's the opposite of the core argument of why building on Substack is so powerful, because you want to grow your email list. You want to have subscribers, not just followers. Some people might just follow you because they want to see your work on their notes feed, but they might not subscribe, and that's fine. But it's a number that you should actually completely ignore, because it's not helping you grow a strong foundation in the long run.
So we see that the timer of the offer has actually already gone to 0, but we will be extending the offer up until we are running the masterclass. So the moment we have answered all of your questions and the masterclass is done, that's when the private coaching call as a bonus will be removed. Another question we got from Jared was, do you suggest new Substack writers to start with notes to get a feel for the platform instead of rushing to write a post or article? I think that's a great question, Jared. I would recommend, if you haven't really figured out what you want your publication to be about, what niche you want to write about, who your audience is, then yes, absolutely just start with notes before you bother even with setting up your publication. Before you bother with writing these posts and articles, because notes is something you can start very quickly. It can just be this short quote, a short snippet, a short insight, a short tip that you can share every day. And that way you get more familiar with Substack as a platform. You already get some followers, you're building a connection with other creators, and you're just getting momentum. And that is really powerful, right? So especially if you're not really sure what your publication should be about, start with writing notes. That's also why actually one of the first modules in Substack system is the module on writing notes.
Exactly. We also had a great question from Laurie, and Karen already answered it actually. Laurie said, how does Substack make their money? Substack takes a cut when you do sell paid subscriptions. So a percentage of your subscribers' subscription fee goes to Substack. That's how they make money. And that's why the platform is entirely free for you to use if you are not monetizing, and you still have access to all the features and options that we discussed today, which is one of the main arguments why it's so great for newer creators to actually start off on the platform. So you keep your costs low, but you start building a real asset.
I see that Sabrina says, thanks, signed up. Joelle says, thank you, signed up. We are happy to have you with us in Substack system. Welcome. Another good question we had was from David earlier on in the masterclass, who asks, I would like to learn the differences between Medium and Substack. Which is better and why? And I think that is such a great question, especially because both Sinem and myself have been writing on Medium for a long time, and we're now basically all in on Substack. The reason why is that Substack as a platform, in my opinion, is way more like a full stack creator platform. So where Medium is just long form writing to your followers, not even your email subscribers, but to your followers, that's really the only thing you can do. You cannot write short form. You cannot send a direct message to people. You cannot have group chats. You cannot have live stream features, no podcasting feature. So in that sense, Substack is a way more complete platform, and almost like the only social media platform you need to run your business on. And most importantly, something that Sinem talked about in the masterclass as well, you're building your email list on Substack, where with Medium, you are writing to followers. And followers don't really mean a lot because overnight your reach can change to followers. But with Substack, you're building your email list, and you know that is an asset you own, and you can always directly contact your audience through email, right? So in that sense, Substack is a way more of a complete platform. And I would say that's really the main difference, and also why both Sinem and myself have been going all in on Substack and not so much anymore on Medium.
Yeah. And honestly, this is still there's still a massive opportunity for you to leverage your work. As I said before, I showed you the screenshot of how we turned a YouTube video into a Substack post, for example, right? Because I'm seeing Mirai's question saying, can I include Medium after publishing to Substack? And if you have already been on Substack, for example, you can perfectly do this. You can take your Substack article and copy paste it to Medium, and you have it up on both platforms. Maybe it gets more search discovery on Medium, for example. Or if you have some subscribers and followers there, you just get additional eyeballs to your work. We're all in for you doing the most effective work possible and doing the least amount of work to get the biggest return on your working hours. But as Yari said, if you want to build community, if you want to build connections, Substack just has way more tools to make that possible for you right now. And ultimately, it's always a decision of what do you want to build? What do you want to do? And what are you excited about? But if you are already on other platforms, why not just leverage both and make sure that you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, or of more worlds?
I see a question about the free gift regarding the post templates and the setup checklist that we have for you as part of this masterclass. So everyone who stayed up until now will get that free bonus sent to their email inbox. So if you're looking for that bonus, it will be in your email inbox later. So everyone else, we will now dive into the Q&A to answer all of your questions. But if you were specifically still here for the bonus, that will be sent to your email inbox.
See one more question from Anna saying, can you please confirm this is a self-paced course? I just signed up and see that I got immediate access to it. Yes, you have lifetime access to all the resources inside the Substack system course, and it is self-paced. So you can literally stay up all night and complete it in one go, or you can space it out over the next couple of weeks and months so that it fits your schedule perfectly. This is important for us because we don't want the coursework to be a burden for you. We want this to actually make sense with your life, with the way your schedule is working right now.
Valerie says, instead of being on a whole lot of platforms, Substack is an all-in-one platform for everything. Yeah, absolutely. That's why, the moment we started on Substack more than a year ago, within the first few days, I was like, wow, this is a game changer, this platform. And I'm not a person that hops platforms quickly. I like to focus on a platform, similarly to Sinem. But yeah, Substack is in that sense an all-in-one platform. One other question we got from Vienna was, can you have multiple newsletters from one Substack account? Yes, you absolutely can. So you have your Substack profile, which is you as an individual, and then you can set up multiple different publications or newsletters. So you can definitely do that. Now it's worth thinking, do you want to do it? Do you need to do it? Because multiple newsletters, let's say you have 2 newsletters, that's also double the work, double the management, double the admin, double the content. I usually say focus on one publication first, focus on growing that first, and then you can expand, if you want to a second publication with already having an existing audience and already knowing how the platform works. But yes, it is absolutely an option. If you're a multi-interested person and you really want multiple newsletters, you can easily do that on Substack.
I see one more question on top, actually, from Karen, saying, is there a way I can contact people who like my published newsletter? You can message people if they don't have their private messages deactivated, which most people don't. You can message them directly. So if you're brand new and you're just building your audience, this is a great way actually to build your first relationships. Just reach out to people and say, hey, I saw you read my article. Thanks for your like. Is there anything that stood out to you? What resonated? What are your thoughts? That's a great way to start building your first relationships. And it's actually something that we do all the time as well. When we see people commenting on our work and we feel like there is an opportunity for a partnership, for a connection, we are always using private messages on Substack for that. And that's pretty powerful and definitely recommended.
Mireille asks, I am now posting monthly. I want to try bi-weekly or 2 times or every 2 weeks. But what if ideas dry up? I don't want to become stressed. Well, first of all, Mireille, great to have you here on the Masterclass. I saw you were very active in the chat. We really appreciate that. And yeah, well, when worrying about your ideas drying up, I think it comes down to a few things. It's not that your ideas dry up. It's maybe that you might be too critical of yourself, of what is worthy of publishing. So I think we are all, every single one of us has hundreds of ideas, hundreds of stories we can share. But most cases we say, this story is not good enough, or it's too personal, or it's not valuable enough, or everyone already knows this. So we're more critical, we're filtering ourselves. I think if you let that go, which is a bit of a practice, you will never run out of things to write about. And simultaneously, live life, right? If you're living life, you're doing new things, you always have new inspiration for stuff to write about. And if you're really out of ideas, you can always say, what articles have I already published in the past? And can I just give that a new angle, a new spin, a new twist to it? Because it's not always about writing new things, completely new concepts. Sometimes your audience benefits the most from you basically repeating your best ideas with different angles, different hooks, different examples.
Yeah. I think a lot of people wonder about how is it to run out of ideas. My experience was also, like Yari said, actually, I was really afraid of running out of things to write, only to realize that the more you write, the more you have to write, because you realize that there are so many blind spots, there are so many additions you want to make, and at some point the challenge becomes limiting the scope of every single piece that you write so that it's actually a manageable article that people want to read and it doesn't end up being overwhelming. I saw other... Sorry, I real quick, I saw a quick question from Suzanne saying, what percentage of subscription does Substack take as a payment? Substack itself takes a 10% cut, and then there are the payment fees by Stripe as well, depending on how your subscriber exactly pays.
Claire says, I want to learn how to create a cool web page like the one you have on Substack. Well, appreciate it, Claire. We share that exactly in Substack system, how you design your publication so it stands out from all the other publications out there. We'll really show you like the tutorial of how to edit your publication, how to design your homepage in a way that you optimize it for more subscribers.
Valerie said, I'm an introvert and don't like being on different social media platforms. Substack is honestly the best as far as I noticed. I need to agree with that, honestly. Social media can be really intimidating if you are not excited about showing your face, being on camera, being on video. And Substack allows you to keep the majority of your work in written words, essentially. If you don't want to do video, audio, or images of yourself, you don't have to do it. It's an opportunity, and it's a fantastic opportunity to build deeper relationships and to gain trust faster. But you don't have to use it if you don't want to. And that's actually what I love. You have all these options, but you pick the ones that make sense for you at your current stage, and you don't have to be loud and extroverted and flashy in order to actually gain exposure.
Val asks, I'm currently getting over a long illness. Am I able to join but start later? Well, Val, first of all, I wish you a speedy recovery. And yes, absolutely, you are able to join right now but start later. So the course, you have lifetime access to it. So you can start in a month, you can start in 6 months, you can start whenever it suits you best. When it comes to the community access and the group coaching access, you have access for 3 months, but starting from the point that you redeem it. So if you want to start with the group coaching and community in a few months, that's completely okay. Then you have, from that point onwards, 3 months of access to it.
Awesome. What else do we have?
I think one question that was pretty interesting that Albert had earlier on in the masterclass, he said, I have 3 newsletters in the past 3 months, and I only have about 20 subscribers and no paid ones. How do I get paid subscribers? Well, Albert, I think in your case specifically, if you have 20 subscribers, I would really focus on getting more free subscribers first before you focus on getting paid subscribers. Because getting paid subscribers, if you only have 20 subscribers, that's going to be pretty difficult. Also, you say you have 3 newsletters in the past 3 months. I would then say focus on one of those newsletters first and really focus on growing that to 100 plus subscribers, and then launch your paid tier. In Substack system, our module 4 is dedicated entirely to how to monetize and get paid subscribers. The most important thing is that you really think of your paid Substack like a product. So instead of just putting a paywall on articles, really think of it, what would people be interested in buying? What's an offer that I can create that's almost like a no-brainer that people are like, of course I'm going to pay for this. That's all stuff we share in Substack system. But really, that is the essence. Really think of your paid newsletter like, okay, what can I offer that makes it a no-brainer for people, that it's so valuable that it's an easy yes. That's the starting point.
I see a question from Laura saying, is there a big difference in a publication and a newsletter? Laura, on Substack, they're essentially the same. Your publication is, think of it as almost like its own website. If you go to the Right Build Scale Substack publication, that's what you will see, right? It's like a content hub. It has a navigation bar. It has different sections. It's easy to scroll through the whole page and find what you're looking for. But every single post there, or almost every post, goes out as an email into our subscribers' inboxes, which also makes it a newsletter. And that's why this is actually so powerful, because when you publish a post, you're not just praying that people will see it, you're sending it directly to the right people's inboxes, people who have actively subscribed to your publication, to your newsletter. So on Substack, it's essentially the same, just that your emails go into the inbox, but they also live on the main page, your homepage on Substack, which is your publication.
One interesting question from Alan earlier on was, how does using other platforms like TikTok help you with your Substack platform? Well, actually, we're not using like TikTok at all. And that's what I love about Substack. It's such a completely different platform than, let's say, TikTok, right? TikTok and even Instagram Reels, it's all like super flashy. You have to be this like big extrovert, record all these hyped videos. Substack is not like that. It is actually more suited to the more introvert person. I would say I'm more of an introvert myself. And there's plenty of built-in growth features on Substack itself that can help you grow to 10,000 plus subscribers, much more even, just by focusing on Substack itself. So no external platforms are necessary. I've seen some of our students, they are also creating on LinkedIn, for example, and using that to drive more subscribers to their Substack. Absolutely. But then they are like repurposing their content, their written content on platforms. But really no need to use platforms like TikTok or other flashy social media platforms, because Substack itself is already a powerhouse that has a lot of built-in growth features. Mm. So Alan actually now asks, can I get rid of TikTok? I really do not like TikTok. Yes, Alan, you can get rid of TikTok.
I saw another follow-up question from Suzanne. Suzanne, you asked before what the percentage, the cut of Substack is when someone subscribes on Substack. That's what our answer was about. The 10% commission Substack is taking when you subscribe to a paid Substack. This has nothing to do with our offer here. Our offer is priced at $4.97. As we have shown before, that is your full access to Substack system. What we answered before was a completely different question that you have asked.
I think there's a very interesting question from Jeff, who asks, would fears be valid that someday new owners could change Substack for the worse? Well, I would say that the Substack team, I have a lot of trust in them, because they are really focusing on implementing what the users want. But let's say in theory that it would happen, that Substack would go down a different direction. The most powerful thing is that you have built an email list, right? You have access to that email list. So let's say in a worst case scenario, Substack goes down a different path. You always can export your email list and import that to, let's say, Git or another tool, and you've always still have access to the audience you've built. And if you compare that to other platforms like Medium, X, or LinkedIn, that's not the case, right? You're not building an email list there. You're only building followers there. So if those platforms change their algorithm, change their strategy, you really lose access to the audience you've built. But with Substack, that's not the case.
Yeah. I think it's really important to emphasize that you want to build something that is strong and that is the foundation of what you can build up on, and that's what you're essentially doing, and why you don't have to have these fears. But it's also why we are encouraging you to take advantage of it right now, because platforms can change, and they do change, because every platform wants to innovate and to become better and bigger. And years ago, you had a great chance to grow your audience on platforms like Twitter, X, Instagram. Now the landscape looks different, and we, as Tiari said before, we are not fans of hopping on trendy platforms too quickly. We want to rather invest in platforms that are established and that we can trust on, that have a good reputation, or that have a reputation by creators like ourselves that we know are working on the platform and trusting it. And that's what you have on Substack right now.
Mm-hmm. We have a few questions. I think they're related. One question from Patricia says, would you recommend people to write on Substack even if they can't use Stripe? Do you have suggestions for monetization beyond paid subs and Stripe? And just a question from Corinne saying, I live in a country where there is no Stripe yet. Are there any other payment methods? So I'm assuming, Corinne, you mean payment methods to Substack. If it's about Substack system, our program, you don't have to use Stripe. You can use other payment methods. But if we're talking about getting paid subscribers, that's what Substack uses Stripe for. But if that's not available in your country, there are workarounds. So for example, you can have on Gumroad set up your paid tier in that sense on Gumroad, where you capture payments through Gumroad, and then you manually add paid subscribers to your Substack publication. Or what I also see a lot of people doing, they're not really focusing on getting paid subscribers, but they're monetizing their Substack through digital products or coaching or through sponsorships, for example. So there's a bunch of different ways you can monetize your Substack newsletter, even if you cannot use Stripe.
Yeah. I see another good question by Dawn saying, what's the difference between the information and Substack system and the Right Build Scale membership? Substack system is a structured program designed to help you step by step to grow on Substack in particular. Our Right Build Scale membership is where you come in for the community, for the coaching, and for our support. So we really make sure that you get everything you want and everything that you need inside the system so that you can follow it step by step. And the coaching and community and the support system happens inside the membership that we host on Circle.
I just see that Valerie actually joined us. Val, welcome to Substack System. Happy to have you here with us. One question we got earlier from Jinwa, I hope I pronounced it correctly. Would you say that video content is a must to build trust and connect with your readers? No, it's not a must. If you only want to write on Substack, you only want to write notes or long form posts, absolutely you can do that. You don't have to show up on camera. You don't have to do a Substack live. You don't even have to have a podcast. You can grow a significant audience on Substack just by writing. Now, yes, having a podcast, yes, showing up on video really helps, but it's not a must. So I just want to clarify that.
Yeah. We have a question from Phil saying, can I copy paste my work from Word to Substack, for example? Yes, of course, you can copy paste your work if that's, if your work is living somewhere else right now. That's also what we did actually when we built our publication. We brought over many of our articles that were already published on Medium before. We took them from Medium to Substack, have published them on our publication to build a strong foundation first. Depending on how you copy paste and where you copy paste it from, you will need to do some formatting just to make sure that you get the most out of the Substack editor, and so that it's displayed nicely on your publication and in the email. But yeah, absolutely possible to do that, and recommend that obviously if you have your work living somewhere else already.
I see that Beth has just joined us. Welcome, Beth. We're happy to have you inside Substack System. Sinem, we're already live for 2 hours right now. I hope your voice is still hanging on. We will be live for 15 more minutes, I would say, and then we close the masterclass. So anyone who's still looking to join Substack System and also get the one-on-one private coaching call as a bonus, there's still a few minutes left, about 15 minutes left. And in that 15 minutes, we will try to answer as many questions possible that we still have left.
We saw another question from Jeff actually saying, does Substack require writers to write in English? Are there any Substack writers in other languages? You're not required to write in English, but that's the biggest potential audience that you can reach. There are lots of Substacks in other languages though. So if you have a good case for not doing an English newsletter, but you want to write in your native language, you can absolutely do that. The main change or the main difference is that notes will not work the exact same way as they would in English, because the notes feed, there is no language filter right now. And 99% of notes on Substack are in English now. The audience discovering notes is basically all used to English. So the algorithm and the filter is not working in a way that they will only show your work to a Spanish audience, for example, if you're writing in Spanish, or a German audience if you're writing in German. So your growth strategies would look slightly different, but the basis of how do you build a great publication will be the exact same that we teach inside Substack system.
A question from Mireille is, when is something better off as a note or as a post? How long should a post be, or how short can it be? So I would say in general, notes, keep them very short. They're really meant to be short and quick. So I would say, let's say like between 5 and 10 sentences, or actually between 1 and 10 sentences, right? Sometimes it can just be a one-liner. When it comes to your posts, it's more about getting the message across that you want in however long that, how many words that takes you. In general, I would aim for more than 500 words, but again, it really depends on your messaging and also your writing style. So that's the fun thing about Substack. You determine the rules. It's your publication, so you really determine what your style is. One other question we got earlier on from Patrick was, I'm very curious about how people are leveraging AI for their posts or notes, and how important is it to stay true to your voice versus using AI? Well, that's a great question, especially in this day and age where AI is more and more popular. So I would say there's a few ways, right? With AI, if you know how to use it, it can write exactly in your voice, your style. So I use a lot of the voice dictation mode with AI tools, where I'm just speaking in like my entire article, and then I use AI in that sense more like a ghostwriter to help me structure it and to help me edit it and help me flow. But it's completely my own story, my own insights, my own language. And also, when you join Substack system, you get 3 months of access to WriteStack, which is this amazing AI tool that helps you not just schedule your notes, which is a big thing, but also help you with built-in AI tools to help you generate content ideas based on your niche, your stories, your writing style, and all of the content you've already created on your Substack before.
Oh, amazing. A couple more minutes to go. I also saw Patrick asked, I think this was a while ago, he said, is this your guys' full-time job? Yes, luckily, we've been blessed to run this kind of business for many years now, actually. What else do you guys want to know? So I see more than 100 people in the room still, which means that you are either still on the fence or you have questions that we didn't answer. If that's the case, please copy paste them into the chat again. And we will answer your questions in the next couple of minutes before we log off.
Mm-hmm. One interesting question from Eric earlier on in the masterclass, asking, does the podcast section on Substack have its own built-in software for recording audio? So the amazing thing with the podcasting feature on Substack is that it allows you to very easily create a podcast and also distribute it, right? And distribution is one of the biggest problems when it comes to a podcast. And actually, it's because of Substack that we have started our podcast a few months ago, because of how easy Substack makes it. Now, I would not recommend using Substack to record your actual episode. I would recommend a tool that's called Riverside FM. It's $30 a month, very cheap, but that allows you to record your podcast in HD quality and also have the video available. And that's what we then upload to Substack itself. Let's see. Another question from Stefan. If you don't have an audience, how do you convince someone who has the audience you're interested in to collaborate with you in order to grow? That's a great question. I would say start by building connections with other creators on the platform from, first of all, a very genuine source because you truly enjoy their work and you resonate with them as an individual, but connect with them first. So don't go and ask straight away without having any prior connection, any prior relationship. If you straight away ask for a collaboration, especially if you don't have an audience, but they do, that you're not likely to succeed. So I would really say build a connection first. And the cool thing is, even if someone has a big audience, they're still a human. They still want to connect. They still are flattered if you give them compliments. They still would like to connect with people, especially on Substack, where it's a very wholesome community and people are really, in general, very positive and easy to connect with. So I would say start by engaging with their content first, like their notes, leave thoughtful comments, then send a DM saying that you appreciate their work. And from that point onwards, you can build a relationship with other creators. And if you then want to collaborate on a newsletter recommendation or a Substack Live or a guest post, that could definitely be a yes, even if you don't have an audience, but they like you. And especially if you know what you're talking about topic-wise, then that's very easy to do. But you have to build those connections before you go and ask.
Yeah, exactly. We have another question about using your own photos, names, etc. So the question is, I use a digital avatar for my profile pic. Is that a bad idea on Substack? Should I get a proper headshot and use my real name when publishing on the platform? You can also get along with a digital avatar if there's a good reason or a strong reason for you to do it. We do recommend going with a proper image of yourself because, as we said before, that makes you human. It's easier to build trust when people actually see a face and they know who they are trusting. You can use a pen name, though, if you don't want to display your real name, if there are any reasons for you not to want that. It's possible. These are all valid options that you have. Just make sure that you make a decision based on what is a must-have and what is an option that I might be slightly uncomfortable with, but that will actually be beneficial in the long run. Even if you don't want to post photos of yourself all the time, it's just great for your readers to see an actual human being part of the publication.
I see that Marie just joined us inside Substack system. Marie, welcome. We're glad to have you with us. One very interesting question from Lisa is actually, I'm a coach and I'm not really considering myself a writer, but Substack intrigues me. How could I visualize myself using it for my type of business? And I find this an amazing question, Lisa, because I also didn't consider myself a writer when I started on Medium. And actually, I don't really consider myself a writer to this day. I always say I'm an entrepreneur first, a business builder first, and a writer or content creator second. So in your case, you might be a coach first and a content creator second. The beauty of Substack is that you can use multimedia. So you don't just have to write. Again, you can do a Substack Live. You can share a lot of images as part of notes. They tend to perform really well. You can share videos as part of posts. So a lot of our newsletters are, for example, video workshops where we show our audience how to do stuff. And it's a screen recording, for example, that we share as posts. So you don't just have to write. Also, if you don't really consider yourself a writer, use AI tools, right? Where you are, again, you are maybe using the voice mode, you're speaking your article out loud, and you just use AI to help you edit it as like a ghostwriter, and then you publish that as written content. And I would say if you're a coach, if you're a course creator, you're a consultant, then Substack is a great place to really look for clients there and grow your coaching business. And you don't have to be a writer to get started. You just have to be entrepreneurially minded and in that sense, enjoy content creation, not necessarily writing.
Awesome. I see another great question from Gia saying, I struggled to finish a post in a decent amount of time. My last post took almost 2 weeks. Are there any templates that people use to make this more efficient? Gia, there are templates, but I think what might be even more powerful for you is to establish certain workflows so that you can combine those templates. And we have so many of them inside our Substack operation system that comes with Substack system as well, to combine that with certain AI prompts that will help you get the work done faster. At the end of the day, you don't just want your content to fit into a template, right? You probably have a good idea of what a post should do. You just need the right nudges to get it done more quickly. And of course, some posts may take a bit longer to finish. Some posts might be easier to finish. But if you have the right tool stack, if you get familiar and comfortable using AI tools as your support system, instead of letting it do the actual writing, you can become a much faster and more efficient creator so that you can actually focus on your message and your audience, and you basically cut the time of content creation massively so that you have more time for these other things.
We are still live for 4 more minutes, and then we're going to end the masterclass. So if you're still interested in joining Substack system and get a private one-on-one coaching call as a bonus, now is really the time to take action, because we're going to close the session soon. We've been going on for more than 2 hours by now. Lisa actually has a follow-up question saying, do you offer some training in adopting AI? Yes, so in our Write Build Skill community, which you get access to when you join Substack system, we have a training on how I personally use AI for writing long-form articles. And in about 2 or 3 weeks, just saying at the top of my head, we will have the founder of WriteStack, Orel. He will be jumping on to give a training on how to use WriteStack specifically for writing notes, right? So this AI tool.
I still have one more interesting question that I quickly want to address. Jeff said, why do some people dislike Substack? I've met a writer who moved her newsletter somewhere else. Let's be realistic. There are people who hate any platform. Medium, Substack, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat. There is no platform that doesn't also have haters or people who are against the platform, and there can be a million reasons for that. Some reasons can be highly personal because the person had a negative experience. So if person A got a negative experience on a platform, they might just get out there and say, hey, this was me, I'm emotionally affected, so I'm leaving. I obviously cannot tell what that person's reason was. What I can say is it's important that you invest in platforms that feel like a fit for you personally at the time you're investing into the platform. Just because you decide to be on a platform right now doesn't mean that you need to stand by that platform in 5 years from now, because again, things change. There might be other opportunities. There might be lots of different changes. You might not need platforms at that time because you've already built an established business. But it's important to stay realistic and know that there is no single website or platform or social network that is loved by everyone. It's all a matter of personal choices, preferences, pros and cons.
Mireille, who has joined us in Substack system a while ago, says that she has been writing notes all through September, and that she has connected with another Substack creator who mentioned her. Is that a collaboration? Yes, that's definitely collaboration. It's the start of a collaboration, I would say. The follow-up question is, how soon can I ask for another work together post? Well, I would suggest taking it to the next level, right? So someone mentioning you is this step one. Now you could actually say, maybe we can recommend each other's newsletter with the built-in newsletter recommendation feature. Maybe you can take it to a guest post, which is also a built-in feature of Substack. So I would use this to go to the next step in a deeper collaboration. It's like opening the door.
Awesome. I saw a question by Corinne saying, I don't have the funds right now. Could you give me an extra 2 days to be able to join Substack system? Corinne, if it's not possible for you to join us right now, please email us at support@rightbuildscale.com. Let us know that you've been part of the masterclass until the very end and that you're planning to join us later on, so that we can make sure that you can still secure all the bonuses that we are promised during the session.
All right. I think we have arrived at the end of the masterclass. What do you think, Sinem?
Yep. I think
Your
so.
voice still seems to be holding up, to be honest.
It doesn't feel that way. If you've been with us throughout the session, if you had any questions that you didn't post because you were not sure if it's a good enough question or not, you can also email us. We will be very active in our inboxes. You can also message us directly on Substack. Our inboxes are open as well. And we will make sure that we get back to all of you as quickly as possible. So please make sure you don't hold back. There are no stupid questions, whether it's about any of the materials and insights that we talked about today or about Substack system and if it's a fit for you and how it could help you on your particular journey. Just message us, email us, and we will be in touch. The doors to the program are open for a couple more days. You will receive the details via email as well. And I think all that is left to say is a big, big thank you for showing up, for investing that time into yourself and into being here and soaking up all that information, the vibe, the energy in this room. Thanks for joining me, Yari. Thanks for answering so many of the great questions of our participants as well.
It was a pleasure. It was amazing seeing hundreds of people being so active in the chat and posting their questions. So like Sinem said, if we didn't get to your question or we missed it in all the messages, just reach out to us on Substack in the DMs. Happy to still get to your question.
Yeah. Take care, everyone, and we hope to see you soon inside the Substack system community. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.